Okay, Rachel, ask me the question again.
So, within the contract, how do you differentiate between a contractor responsibilities and owner's responsibilities?
So, in order to differentiate between the contractor's responsibilities and the owner's responsibilities, you really need to break down exactly what's going to happen. When you're going to show up to a project, who is responsible for paying for a specific product? Is it you or is it the owner? You need to know this. Who is responsible for picking it out, for deciding what color faucet they're going to use or how large the tiles are going to be? If they say, "Oh yeah, the contractor can pick it all out," well then they can't come back to you and say, "I don't like the 12 by 24 brown tile. I wanted subway tile." Well, you gave me permission to take the lead and order that material and you didn't want to accept responsibility. So at that point, you really need to sit down with the owner and say, "Hey, what do you want to be responsible for? And what do you want us to be responsible for?" Now take the lead. They hire you for a reason. You're the professional. So you take the lead on this. You're going to hire the trades. They're going to be your trades. They need to make the decision. They need to approve all the products that are going in. They need to oversee some of the quality as well. I mean, obviously, it's your job as a contractor to know what quality is. But when they come in and say, "Hey, I wasn't expecting this room to be this small," work with them. But the owner needs to be able to sign off on the product. If they want a clear cedar soffit, no knots in it, and that product is worth $13,000, for instance, you need to make sure that they sign off on the color. This is the color I want. This is the product I want. Because when the storms come and it starts to bleed the end of the cedar, and they go, "Well, you're the one that recommended this cedar." Yes, but you signed off on it knowing that this was a potential hazard, not hazard, but a potential flaw that could happen, that you could get staining. So you almost need to know what could happen, like a risk analysis. Take, for instance, like a SWOT analysis, and the owner needs to be responsible for picking out their product. And another quick example, if an owner is going to go down to Home Depot and they're going to pick out the products that they want to see, they don't realize that products that are from a big box store, yes, they've got warranty and they're made by good name brands, but they're made specifically for that box store. So they're not as high end than if you were to go to a specific plumbing store or a specific tile store to get the product that is built for quality, not for mass quantity. Contract writing is not an easy job. It's something that we all need to do, but it's not easy and it takes a lot of time and thinking. This is how it goes for me. An owner calls me up and they say, "How much is it going to cost to build a kitchen renovation or an addition?" Well, I don't know. "How long is the piece of string in my pocket?" I have no clue. "I don't know what you want." So we sign a retainer agreement. This retainer agreement is, they pay us around $5,500 and it gets us in the door with the owner. So now we're going to the city, we're getting information about what they're required for permitting on that. We're going to the engineer, getting some pricing, putting a budget together. So we're getting paid. The owner knows that at the end of this agreement, they're going to have a set of conceptual drawings and an idea of what they want to build. Then you move into a pre construction agreement, which you take a deposit as well. This pre construction deposit is going to give you the right to hire the professionals needed to produce the drawings in order to apply for a building permit application. So, i.e., would be a architect or a measure masters that would come in and pre-measure the house, or survey, or a health practitioner to look at a septic field or a well, or truss drawings, putting a budget together, engineers, electrical engineers, et cetera, et cetera. So it gets you to the point that you've got an actual set of drawings that you can take to the city for building application and approval. That's your pre-construction. Then you move into another phase, another contract, which would be the constructing of the project. This is a separate contract altogether. This is what you're going to provide. This is what you're going to build them and what you're going to end up with. This will have payment schedules, timeline schedules, what your responsibilities are, what the contractor's responsibilities are, what the owner's responsibilities are. And this will get you to the point where the project is completed. There's not one contract that's going to cover you for everything, because an owner's not going to sign a contract just off a whim, and you don't need to spend 160 hours putting a price together without getting paid for it. So you have to write multiple contracts along the way. So retention agreement, which is basically designing the scope of work, getting the information out the door. Then there's the pre-construction agreement, which gets all the documentation in order for building application. And then there's the construction agreement. So at least 3 contracts are involved in a project. And if you're not doing that, you're gonna get taken advantage of somewhere along the way. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for watching. And I'm so glad that you are interested in how to write a contract, because it's very, very important as a contractor to figure this out before you lose your shirt. And if you like what you've heard here today, don't forget to hit the bell notification, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you at the next video.